A group of students were traveling in a sightseeing bus, got kidnapped by some strange men. But there was a pregnant young student aboard, but an unknown man kept looking at her, that she began having a bad feeling. The bus entered an enclosed area completely different from the route they were taking. Suddenly the weird man put on an oxygen mask and sprayed tear gas in the midst of the students. He went directly to the pregnant student, as though she was his target. He carried her on his shoulder as she fainted. A group of armed men wearing protective clothing and masks was seen waiting outside the bus. They entered the bus to murder the innocent students. The lady gained consciousness but was lying on a steel-cold stretcher. She looked at her surroundings confused, but someone was with her caressing her hair. She looked up to see the person it turns out to be the Beck twins. She told the twin that she has a baby, but she replied with, "I know, it's a girl, and the girl will have a sister, and they be twins." The bus assassination was broadcasted as an accident, which claimed 36 people. Years later, a secret research facility was destroyed by some Chinese agents. But a girl emerges as the sole survivor of a bloody raid on the research facility behind the top-secret witch program. She was isolated since birth. She had no human contact till she inadvertently found freedom. The girl happens to be a clone of her mother and is thus subconsciously connected to her. She's sensitive to everything around her. This is Zhang, a nephew of the Dr. Beck. He heads the security on behalf of the consortium. He meets the wheelchair-bound Dr. Beck to fisher the invasion of the lab. The girl made her way to a tiled road. A car passed by her and stopped. It reversed and forced her into the car. A lady named Kyung Hee was forcibly taken by Youngdoo's thugs to kill because father's farmland. The girl was takes to kill so that there are no witnesses to what they will do to Kyung Hee. The men began harassing the girl. She told them to stop, but they refused, so she beat them until near death with her abilities. Kyung Hee was shocked by what she saw. She wanted to leave, but she held back and held her hand and ran to the woods. Kyung Hee's uncle rushed down to pick her. Then the girl had a nose bled and collapsed and was rushed to Kyung Hee's uncle's place to treat her. He removes a glass fragment from her back. Immediately, electrical impulses surged through her nervous system, jolting her awake, and her wounded body healed instantly. The uncle's jaw dropped for a second. He genuinely thought he was hallucinating. He left and told his niece about it, and she stared at the girl in shock. This is Sergeant Cho Hyun-jo, a mercenary team leader, and her partner Tom. He's a superhuman, and so is Cho Hyun-jo. They work for the secret organization. After years of isolation, she stepped into the real world, and she was having the time of her life. She waves to cows. Every little thing fascinated her. She and Kyung Hee arrived at her home, where she and her brother Dae-gil lives. Dae-gil having a sister-brother fight, but the girl switches to defend mode to save her, but Kyung Hee calmed her. She couldn't but help admire Kyung Hee, as Kyung Hee regarded her as her sister. She was served dinner for the first time in her life. She gorged on the food like there was no tomorrow. But Sergeant Hyun-jo has been hired to find and kill ADP, the girl, at all costs, but Tom was just there enjoying his snack. Sergeant Hyun-jo was given a tracking device that keeps track of the girl's brain health. Just then, ADP starts bleeding again. Suddenly, electrical nerves surge through her, and she helped her mom, calling for her, saying, "Come to Mummy." She held her breath while closing her ears tightly, and the time stopped. The wall clock stopped ticking, and the air froze. She relaxed, and everything went back to normal as she walked to the window. Youngdoo thugs' cars were flooding in toward the farmland. Kyung Hee was seen holding a gun, trying to scare them away, but they didn't budge. Youngdoo wants her father's farmland and is ready to go to any length just to have it. The gun was collected from her, and she was held hostage. Her brother Dae-gil tried to stop them, but he was knocked to the ground. Just as Youngdoo and his thugs were trying to force her to sign an agreement, ADP was spotted standing on a rooftop. They got frightened. They thought she was suicidal, not knowing they were about to get their ass kicked. She came down from the top and went straight to the man hurting Kyung Hee and crashed him hard with her strength into the warehouse. Before the thugs could turn their faces, she was already in their front. She broke one's leg and threw the other way like a piece of paper. Youngdoo tried to shoot, but she collected the gun and fired in a wrong direction on purpose. He was shocked to his bones. She intimidated him further, but Kyung Hee quickly stopped her and told her she's fine. Kyung Hee turned to Youngdoo, who's terrified and couldn't get hold of himself. She slapped him in the face and told him to go and never come back. They sped off faster than light speed. Daegil was petrified, but ADP stared at him and smiled. The Chinese superhuman agent headed to ADP to murder her. Youngdu visited Kyunghee's uncle to question him about ADP, the girl he helped Kyunghee treat. Youngdu cuts off his hand as a punishment for treating her and for not telling him about the girl. He got the girl's information from him and left. ADP went to the supermarket for the first time. All she was packed foods. Ate from one food test stand to another without letting other people get a chance to have a taste. She has a big appetite. Kyunghee uncle told about what happened and told her to stay away from ADP. As she was about to leave, Sergeant Hyunjo entered her car. She told Kyunghee who really ADP is. She showed her the footage where ADP murdered people and how deadly she can be. Youngdu contacted the Chinese agents about ADP, and they struck a deal. Daegil showed ADP, her twin sister, Jaeyoon, audition performance. He wanted her to go to the audition so they could make money and become rich and famous, but life has other plans in store for him. ADP teased by levitating objects and dropping them before Daegil could have a look. When he eventually saw her abilities and was astonished and thought she was from another planet. Kyunghee gets back home, but is confused by the situation, but Sergeant Hyunju was waiting for her signal. The Chinese agents are on their way to the farmland, as directed by Youngdu. Kyunghee was hesitant on pressing the signal to alert the team, but she was running out of time. Sergeant Hyunju was losing patience, ready to strike, and her team was ready to kick into action. Inside, Kyunghee quickly urged ADP to run for her life. Immediately, ADP sensed the danger awaiting her outside the house. Just then, Youngdu and his gang stormed the farmland in their cars. The Chinese agents are not left out, all assembled at the farmland. Hyunju and her partner were caught off guard by their presence. Kyunghee stepped out with a gun, but Youngdu, seeing her with a gun, became furious and fired his gun at her. Hyunju's team kept eyes on ADP, who was on the rooftop with Daegil. He pointed out the main road and asked if she could make it there in one go. He told her to leave at once. As he turned to leave, he told her to come back when things got better and left to go meet his sister outside. Almost immediately he left. A bazooka hit the house, destroying a large portion of the house. Daegil rushed to his lifeless sister, pulling her close. But Hyunju had lost track of ADP. One of the Chinese agents went up a billboard where the man who shot the bazooka and attacked the man with the intention to kill him, while another Chinese agent killed several of Youngdu's men using wooden planks used as a barrier on the farmland. She tore the planks into tiny chunks and murdered thugs who were trying to escape on the spot. Hyunju asked Daegil to come with her to safety, but Youngdu aimed at him with a gun and fired. Hyunju tried to block it, but the bullet hit Daegil in the back before she could reach where Daegil was kneeling. ADP woke up to the sound of the fireworks. She regained consciousness and got to her feet, looking at the direction of the fireworks. A Chinese superhuman suddenly appeared in front of her and attacked, but ADP moved faster, snatched the weapon, and drove it straight into the agent's head. The Chinese group go berserk, and the mercenary team fight them, but the Chinese superhumans easily win the battle with their superior strength, inhuman speed, and psionic powers. They had stabbed Sergeant Hyun and her partner Tom, who tried to protect her. ADP comes into the fray and saw Kyunghee and Daegil lifeless bodies. Knowing it was only Youngdu who killed them, she went straight to where Youngdu was lying and broke his leg in anger. He screamed in pain. The Chinese group, confident and well-armed, surround her. One of them steps forward arrogantly, underestimating her quiet demeanor. But ADP doesn't move, not yet. Her cold gaze scans them as if calculating how many seconds it'll take to eliminate them. The Chinese group fought her, but they were no match to her. None of them was built like her. She's in another level. She destroyed each and every one of them with cruelty, and they collapses in front of her powers. A Chinese guy whose hand she had destroyed regenerated his hand again and wanted to take her down. Suddenly, with a flick of her fingers, debris and stones from the ruined building begin to tremble, then rise into the air around her like orbiting satellites. The wind howls. Before they can react, the stones accelerate into a blinding storm, sharp, fast, and deadly. The man in front tries to shield himself, but it's hopeless. The stones shred in midair. The whirlwind rips through his body with terrifying precision, tearing his limbs apart and reducing him to bloody fragments. The last of the Chinese agent, who was frightened, backs up into a car that has just arrived, and from within emerges Jae-yoon. She is angry as she had specifically told him not to kill her sister and promptly causes the last Chinese agent's head to implode. It turns out that it was Na-yoon who sent the Chinese agents to release her sister, but the Chinese agents had other plans. They were going to kill her. Jae-yoon had been watching from the shadows the entire time. Then Jae-in moved close to her and said she could feel her even though she was born apart. They were only together in their mom's womb. ADP, still trying to process everything, narrows her eyes. She then asked her why she let her out of the lab. Jae-yoon replied her saying, "Because I need you, and you need me too." ADP asked Jae-yoon why, and she replied, "You and Mom are connected, and she's been looking for you, right?" Jae-yoon added, "Let's go, my sister," but ADP ignored her and went to where Kyung-hee and Dae-gil are laid and said, "I want to save them," looked at her and replied, "Sure you can." She handed her a cure and continued, "You can only save one, but she won't be an ordinary human anymore." ADP fell to the ground from disappointment. Jae-yoon quickly tranquilized her, causing her to become unconscious. Then Jae-yoon put her in the car. She looked at the surroundings. It was filled with lifeless bodies of the Yeongdu thugs. She sighed and gently entered her car and left the farmland. Moments after Jae-yoon and her twin sister had left, Tom gained consciousness and quickly helped Sergeant Hyun up. Sergeant Hyun, knowing she wouldn't be able to get the job done all by herself anymore, put a call to Mr. Jang to ask for his help, but he and his team are already on the rooftop of the house. They have been there for a while. Sergeant Hyun, looking up at him, asked how long he had been there for, but he ignored the question and asked her why she called him. Sergeant Hyun then told him to run after Jae-yoon, but he calmly told her there's no need to hurry as he knows where she's headed. Dr. Beck, wheelchair-bound twin, was seen in her home drawing a mysterious woman. The girls have finally met. They want to come looking for their mother. We need to get ready. A woman was shown in a hidden chamber bathed in cold blue light. Jae-yoon and ADP mother floats in a cryo tank connected to wires, motionless but alive. This is not the end. The story has just begun. Deep secrets are about to be uncovered. Stay tuned for the next part. Thank you so much for watching.